Hey guys,
Hey.
I'm trying to open this. Hold on 1 second. I can only see Stacy. Not that that's a bad thing.
It looks like somebody's screen sharing. That's why you can't pull it up the other way.
So weird. Oh, it says you're viewing Christine's Shiznada's screen.
Yeah, it's Kristen.
Christy, I don't know if you can unscreen share.
Are you asking like Christy Pettis? I'm on the phone.
No.
Okay, different Christy. Okay.
Maybe, Christy, maybe I would just leave the meeting and then come back, maybe. There we go. Okay. Okay, cool. Can see most of you now. Alrighty. There we go.
Wait,
Okay.
all
right. There's definitely
we're having problems here.
Is your internet working now, Beth?
No, I'm on Scott's hotspot, and Luke's trying to print something off the computer, but nothing will print because it's all you have to have internet to do the wireless, and so they're in here trying to figure out how to print something. So just ignore everything going on if y'all hear craziness. It's usually not like this, but it's bedtime and he's trying to print homework.
No worries. Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So let me, people are still hopping on. Let me go ahead and mute everyone, and then I'll unmute. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for everybody who was able to get on. This is a great opportunity for us, and I'm super excited to have Beth with us. If you don't know, Beth is our closest diamond, okay? So I'm Beth's level 5 or 6. I think I might be under Scott, so her husband. So, yeah, Beth is Celeste Gwynn's level 1. Okay, and we all know Celeste is our first double diamond. And so recently, in the past several months, Beth has been my best friend and helping me through a lot of things as I strive to be a better leader and, help all of you grow. So I wanted Beth to come on tonight and share a little bit about her story and also answer a few questions about the opportunity and events and how she has made that work for her. So thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate you being on and taking the time for us.
Of course, I'm excited to, and thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So, Kate is an amazing leader, and y'all are lucky to have her. And I know that she would do anything for each and every one of you to help you meet your goals and help you be successful with Plexus. And so y'all need to take her up on that if you're needing help, because she's there and she's been amazing. And I know through this back office and everything, she's helped so much and been very proactive, and she works very hard. And I mean, she's about to have a baby. Zoom. So I'd be like, I'm on the bed. But anyways, but we talked about tonight, and I know that I don't know how many of y'all have been on a Zoom with me before, but I thought I would just start by sharing a brief version of my story so y'all kind of know where I came from. I started Plexus in March of 2013, and so it's just been a little over 3 years, which is crazy. And I had watched several of my friends take Plexus. Celeste, Gwen was one, and her son and my oldest were best friends at school. And so I'm sure many of y'all have heard of all the jewels that came from the little tiny school, McKinney Christian Academy, and I am one of those. Our kids don't go there anymore because we moved about an hour and a half away. But anyways, I was watching Celeste, and then Ariel Post, who's another diamond, Rainey Anderson, who's another diamond. They'd all been taking Plexus for months, and I told them I thought they were crazy. None of them were people. At that time, we all just thought Plexus was weight loss. We had no clue about the health benefits. It was just weight is what we thought. And so none of those girls that I think ever needed to lose weight, but they were looking amazing, and they had all this energy. And so about the time Celeste signed up, I was actually training for a half marathon, and I was gaining tons of weight. And so Celeste called me. I think I'm like her, maybe third. I think I'm like her third ambassador that signed. And she said, I think you need to do this with me. And I was like, absolutely not. I'd never been one to take any kind of really even vitamins. I mean, I tried to chew Flintstones when I was pregnant, but that didn't work out well. And so I just never really taken anything. But I was gaining weight while I was training for this half marathon. I was like, something has to give. So my husband, Scott, said, let's just try it. We were not trying it for the business. I was so against network marketing, like hated network marketing. So I thought. And so we signed up to get the discount and literally bought the $133.95 package, bought one bag of Slim and an accelerator. I started taking the Slim. He started taking the Slim and the accelerator. But I had no intentions on selling this whatsoever. And I knew that it worked for my friends, but I didn't believe that it worked for me. Like I had all intentions of turning off. But, obviously God had different plans. But I remember Celeste calling me and telling me, you need to start sharing this, and you need to start sharing and posting on Facebook. And I was like, I am not going to do that. I don't want to do that. And for whatever reason, God did change my heart. And I started telling people in person, and I started telling people, on Facebook, and my business started growing. At the time, I was working 2 part-time jobs that really equaled more than a full-time job. So I had 0 time. Scott traveled all the time, and I have 2 boys. They're 13 and 10 now, and they're so busy in sports. And so literally there were days when I was working my Plexus business sitting at red lights on the way wherever we were going. And but I will tell you, I was consistent. Every single day I followed up with people. I talked to people about Plexus when I was out and about. I remember being at the baseball field one day, and somebody walked up to me and goes, what are you doing? And she literally signed up on the spot right there, like from her phone. And so I was consistent every day. If somebody asked me a question, regardless of if it was the last thing I did before I went to bed that night, I followed up with them. And so very quickly my business started to grow. I think I went silver in like 5 weeks. My brother was my first ambassador, and then Alicia McKee, who is a diamond, was my second, and then Ariel Post, who's a diamond, was my third. And Ariel signed up about 5 weeks after I did. And again, she'd already been taking the product, so she had the story. And so I had no idea what I was doing. Nobody had any idea what they were doing back then. We didn't have team pages. We didn't have all these Zooms. Nobody knew what a Zoom was back then. We didn't have any of the stuff that we have now. We didn't have Plexus Power Tools. We didn't have, everything's done now for us. It's so duplicatable because, everybody's done Zooms and put them on YouTubes, and you can learn and train, and there's training groups, and there's so much here. But when we started, there wasn't any of that. And so we were just kind of trying to figure it out. But what I came to realize was, as much as I hated network marketing, I've always been a network marketer. I just never got paid for it. Because I was the one that if I found a new restaurant, or if I found a new boutique, or if I found, a new nail salon, I told everybody about it, right? I still share on Facebook sometimes when I find something exciting, because that's a great way to put it out there. But I would just tell my friends. And so what I realized was that that's all Plexus is we're sharing something that we are like and that we're passionate about. And so as long as we continue doing that and following up and, keep going, then Plexus is going to turn into an amazing opportunity. I never in a million years thought that we could make money with Plexus ever. I did not understand that. I did not understand. I just, I was so confused. I didn't understand the comp plan. Like, I could not figure out for the life of me why I wanted team members. I just wanted the 25% commission, so like figuring all that out, because very quickly I did go up in the company. And so in November I hit Emerald, in January I hit Sapphire, and in February at 11 months I hit Diamond. And so was a whirlwind. I was able to quit my jobs, but I was under contract, so I didn't quit my job until May, after I had been Diamond. And so I was working hard up until, getting all the way to Diamond. And so I just want y'all to know that anything is possible with this journey. I don't say that to brag by any means. I just, you look at so many people and, we always say, don't compare your journey to anybody else's. And you can't, because everybody's at so many different phases of life. There's people who are working who've never had kids. There's people who are empty nesters. There's people who work full time and have 5 kids and still, do things. Everybody's at a different phase of life. And so their journey may be a little bit different, it's, so never compare yourself to somebody's journey. Just and keep growing, and you're gonna. Okay, I think Kate's gonna ask me some questions.
The last part went out a little bit. Did it for everybody else too? Okay.
I'm sorry. This
okay.
Internet is crazy. Okay. I don't know where it cut out. I was just saying that it's an amazing journey, and not to compare yourself to anybody else's journey, but just keep growing and learning and being passionate, and you will rise to the top.
Absolutely. And I do have some questions for you. And just kind of, as you're listening, guys, if you think of a question that you want to ask Beth, let me know, okay? And we can ask. So the one thing that I wanted to know, and I think it would be good for everybody to hear, is how did you get started sharing the products and opportunity? And did you wait for major results with either before you started sharing?
I did not. I joked because I swore I wasn't going to share. And like I said, I was training for a half marathon. And so we bought our products in March, I think March 17th. And I was supposed to run that half marathon sometime in the end of March. And I didn't want to start Plexus until I ran. I was just like, I don't want to mess anything up. And so, but Scott did. And here's the deal. I did not believe it was going to work for me. But I did start sharing. And what I did believe was that it had worked for my friends. I just shared with everybody what had worked for my friends and what I was doing. And just by telling them what I was doing, people got excited. And so absolutely don't wait until you have results. And I know that if I would have waited until I had results, that I would not have the team that I have now, for sure. They would have gone with somebody else.
Yeah. I think that is a key point. I think a lot of times people decide they want to wait until they have results, and then, they see people who, could have been on their team or potential, customers being told by somebody else that. And also the people that I have seen share right away seem to be the most successful, because that's how you learn, is by doing, is by sharing. We're not supposed to be experts. We all have varying degrees of what we know about the products, but that's okay. It's about our truth. It's about what's going on. It's about how my friend's doing. There's so many resources for us. So I always encourage people right off the bat to share.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, I still don't know the answer. I sure didn't know any answers back then. I mean, guys, I did not even know that we had a product line. And probably not for a while. Just because I wasn't planning on doing it. So it did move for a while. I did have to learn, and I'm still learning. And there's still many days when somebody will ask me a question and I'll be like, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find the answer, and I will find that answer within 24 hours and get back to them. I never let people wait. You have to be consistent in your follow-up. Follow-up is huge, huge.
Okay. What has been the most effective way for you to share the opportunity? And do you always bring it up when you're talking about Plexus?
So here's the deal. Obviously, at this stage I am now, most people that I know that I am a Diamond ambassador with Plexus, and that Scott's an Emerald, and they know that. But if I'm out and about sharing Plexus, say I'm in a doctor's office, people don't know, and they don't know what Diamond ambassador is, And so I just give them a little bit. That's something that I've learned. I used to give people everything and then some, or like when they'd ask me for something, I'd send an email like 30 documents and say, read this. Okay, I would have never read that, just, So I know that other people aren't. But I just kind of have a 30-second spill. This is a great opportunity. I never wanted this opportunity. And again, I just talk about how, I've always been a network marketer because I've shared things. And, now I'm able to stay home with my kids. And just give them that at first. Just give them a little short 30-second spill. Have it in your head of what Plexus has done for you financially if you're talking about the opportunity. The same if you're talking about the products. I don't say, well, we have I say, we have a whole line of product. I work for a health and wellness company. We have a whole line of products. Our main product focuses on balancing your blood sugar. We have an amazing gut health line. We have amazing pain relief line. We have amazing vitamins. And I'll leave it at that. And then let them ask me questions. And so just going back and forth, that's something that I totally learned to do because I would try to make it way too difficult. And I'm telling you, if Celeste had been making it way too difficult for me, she would have lost me and I've been like, no, thank you. I don't even know what you're talking about. And so I've really learned just to give 30 seconds, here and there. Be proud at whatever level you are. If you're silver and somebody asks you what you do, I'm a silver ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. What does a silver ambassador mean? It means that I've helped change lives of some people by sharing these amazing products. So be proud of where you are. Be proud that you're a Plexus ambassador. I know forever this took me a long time because I am not a pushy person, and I was scared I was going to hurt somebody's feelings, or I was scared somebody was going to unfriend me on Facebook, or I was scared somebody was going to be annoyed with me. And even when people would reach out to me and ask me about Plexus, when I would follow up, excuse me, I would say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be bothering you. Don't be sorry. This could change their life. How many lives have been changed because of Plexus? Don't be sorry anymore. I'm telling you, I had to learn that. That was very hard for me. Very hard for me because I felt like I was bothering people. Am I cutting out again? It's saying my internet is unstable.
Yeah, it's in and out, but we can hear you for the most part, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I think
of course it does.
It's okay. I think just to reiterate, I think the real important thing about the fact that, for many people, okay, $300, $400, $500 a month is life-changing. So if you're a silver ambassador, that's something to be extremely proud about. And I know several of you are gold, almost senior gold. And so it's important that we have confidence in that and understand that a lot of people are looking for that too. And you never know. So we can't prejudge people because you never know what they're looking for.
I'll tell you what, people did not know where we were in our life. And we had always been totally, we'd always save money. We weren't big spenders, but my husband was in the mortgage industry. And so when that crashed, our whole life changed. And we went from making really good money to not making very much money, but still having the same house payment, the same car payment. So we had to get our groceries down to like $10, $30 a week. I mean, that's what we did. And it's fine. And we survived that, and then when we finally decided that we were going to, that we were doing okay and we're living a little bit more than paycheck to paycheck, we felt that God was telling us we need to put our kids in private school. So looking at us from the outside, none of my friends knew that we were on financial aid at private school. They just knew we were going to private school, and so and I was working these jobs. And so for me, $500 was huge. It was so big. But people looking on the outside probably didn't think that because we never told anybody our struggles. We never, and so anyways, you're right. You cannot prejudge. You can't, because for most people, $300 to $500 is life-changing for them. It truly is. And so what can it do for you? And if it's not life-changing for you, it can be saving for your kids to go to college, or it can be saving for a vacation that you want to go on. It can be your thing. I have a friend here in Aledo where I live now, and her youngest was going to kindergarten, and she just wanted, they're way fine on money, but they just, she needed something to do. And now she's excited because she is making money, and it's kind of like fun for her because it feels, she has a purpose, something to do while her kids are at school now. So don't ever prejudge, because everybody can use Plexus.
Absolutely. Okay. So One of the things that is definitely something that I struggled with early on and still tend to at times is customers versus teammates. In your opinion, what sets you free? What has been the game changer for you?
Well, and I kind of talked about it earlier. I could not wrap my mind around this, y'all, because I was like, why would I want a team member and make like $15 off of them when I can get 25% commission off of my customers? I'm telling you right now that team members and growing your team is where it's at, and that's where you're going to move up in the company. It's the only way to move up in the company. It's where you're going to have residual income. It's where you are set. I mean, and I'll tell you this, my PV range is typically from, I think last month is one of the lower months it's been in a while, and it was, I think, 12 or 1300 maybe. It's been, 22, 23. It's been as low as 700, honestly, at one point. And so you take that and you look at 25% commission off of that, right? I don't even know what that adds up to. I can't, I can't think. I'm not a math person. But then you look, and I've been diamond for a while. So let's just say I just turned diamond, okay? And we all know you have to have 4,500 points to be diamond, right? Okay, so let's just say pay points for last month were $293. Let's round those to $3, okay? So 4,500 times $3 is, anybody good at math? Probably about $13,000, right? I promise my commission off of my PV isn't going to be anywhere near $13,000. So take it down, take it to Emerald, take it to 1,500. Kate's shooting for Emerald, right? So Kate, say you have just 1,500 points at Emerald, and they're $3 a point. That's $4,500. Have you ever made $4,500 off of commission from your PV? No, you haven't. And that was the hardest thing, y'all. I could not understand, because I was like, okay, so I'm silver. I have 3 ambassadors. That's like $45. Whoop-de-doo, right? But no, it's not, because then your 3 ambassadors are going to go silver. And so, you have 3 of them, and so that's, 15 points. And then each of them have 3. And so that's another 45 points. So that's 60 points, right? So 60 times 3 is $180. That sounds a lot better. And it just keeps going and growing and growing and growing and growing. I mean, guys, and I don't know what are my levels, where they are, but I have over 35,000 people on our team now. That's a lot of people. I don't have 35,000 people personally, but I have people all over the country. I don't have a lot. And the deal is so many, you look at diamonds, how many people does it take to make you go diamond truthfully? Well, you have to have 7 level 1s that are active. But you could have 5 level 1s that are active and 2 that are working it and get to diamond. Now, most people don't do that, obviously, because you want more people working it and you want to go wide, and we know that. But all I'm saying is that it doesn't take that much, because what happens? You share with your friends, and they share with their friends, and they share with their friends. But so many people don't even understand that. And so, it's great to have customers, and I will have customers. And I have some of my customers have been customers from the very beginning. And it may be that they just order a bag of Slim, and so it doesn't even make sense for them to be an ambassador if they absolutely don't want to be an ambassador. So that doesn't make sense, right? So they're going to be my customer. And some of them I've asked numerous times, would you like, you've been ordering way over $100 for a long time. Why don't you switch to wholesale? Get a couple people to join. They just don't want to, and that's totally fine. And so you are going to have those people. But if you never ask, if you have this super high PV every single month, and a lot of us, the same people, you've got to start flipping them to ambassadors. Customers are amazing. They need our products. They build our business. They grow our business, because they're learning. But how you're going to go up with Plexus is by building your team. You can't get to diamond by just having customers. You have to have ambassadors. And so, but that was really, really hard for me to understand. I really couldn't wrap my head around it. I just wanted my 25%. But I promise, the longer that you go, nobody says you're stopping at 4,500 points. I mean, you just keep adding and you keep growing, and it keeps, the more people you have that are working it, the more people are growing downwards on your team, right? And so you start with you, and then come to find out 3 years later, you can have this. Who in the world would have ever thought me, who didn't want to do this, would have that many people on our team? It's crazy. And it's because I have amazing leaders on my team who watch what their leaders are doing, and they duplicate it, and they're not scared to share Plexus. I mean, that's all it is. They're not shared, because here's the deal, and this is what I truly believe about Plexus. I don't believe I'm trying to get somebody to buy something. I believe that Plexus is completely changing lives in so many different ways. I've seen people who can't get off their couch and walk, who are now walking and going on amazing vacations and going back to work. I've seen people who've struggled with weight their entire life, where it made them unhealthy, who now have confidence about themselves. And yeah, they've lost weight, but they feel good, and they're not addicted to food anymore, and they feel better about themselves. And so their lives have changed because they can get up and do something. There's people who suffered from debilitating headaches, 5 a week, that just keep them in bed and at home, who don't have those anymore. They're free from that. There's so many things that people are free from because of Plexus. And so I feel like it's our responsibility to let the world know about Plexus, because we can help. We're the vessels. I say we can help. I truly believe that God has put Plexus in my life to be a vessel to help other people get well and get healthy. And also for some people, this has changed their lives financially. I mean, you can see it all over. There's single mamas who now don't struggle and are at home because they can stay home with their children, and they can provide with their kids, and they don't have to work 2 jobs. There's people that, there's dads that were traveling. I know that there's a girl, her name is Jill, and she's at Emerald, and her husband works in the oil field, a very dangerous job, and she retired him home. It's changing people's lives. People can buy groceries. People can pay their car payment and not stress about it. Guys, there are people that that need all of those things. And so I feel like we should share with everybody and not be ashamed of it, but be proud to share.
Yeah. I think, the financial freedom is obviously a given usually when you're at Diamond, right? But the other thing that I kind of want to point out is the time freedom. I think that is a lot more valuable to some folks, and something that I really, really, really want. And customers suck up my time. I mean, it's just the valid truth. I love my customers, but I try to flip them as much as I can, because the duplication process, the growing your team process, that's where the freedom is. Not answering a message every 2 seconds from customers about when to take their probiotic and their cleanse. I think sometimes that is those of us who have really high PV, and there's several of you on here that do, and like I do, it's very time consuming. And so that's something that, if we're always focusing on that, how are we going to be able to grow our team? And so I think that's something else outside of the financial freedom is the time freedom. And I feel like that's there with growing your team as well, in my opinion.
Well, and I will say this, it really is amazing. And, yes, the past few months, we've had to work a little extra harder, or a lot extra harder, but I'll tell you what, last week was like, wow, I forgot about all this, I mean, I worked very hard, but this weekend, I didn't even open my messages, because that's the thing, you can have all the freedom that you want. Yes, you're going to work hard to get to Diamond. Yes, when you get to Diamond, you're going to work hard, because here's the deal. I want it for every single team member that wants it, and I want to help them. And I do Zooms all the time, and I do phone calls all the time, and people know I'm always available. But here's the deal, is that I've had to learn too that I've had to set limits, because if I do want freedom and time freedom, that I have to set limits on not being available 24/7, 7 days a week, because that's what I was doing. And so, for instance, yesterday, one of my level ones texted me, she needed a document. And I honestly didn't respond back to the text, because I didn't want to forget that the text was on there. And so it showed that, I had a new text. But so I just messaged her today and said, hey, I really am trying hard not to work on the weekends. And I don't mean not work as in like I still share if I'm out and about or I still post on Facebook or any of that. That's not what I mean. But like doing the office work and the duties, because I just, you can set your freedom. And, you know, like a couple weeks ago, my 4th grader had a 3-day field trip out of town, and I didn't have to ask anybody if I could go on that field trip. You know, I just did. And so that's the amazing part about it is having the time freedom as well. So,
yeah. Okay. Real quick on Sip and Seas. Have they been effective for you, and how simple are they?
Okay, I love Sip and Seas. And I thought for the longest time, because I lived in the Dallas area. Now I live about 2 hours from everybody, hour and a half, 2 hours from everybody. So it's a lot harder for me to get to the big meetings all the time. But that's what I knew. And so when I came out here and I started going around the country visiting people, I started doing these Sip and Seas. And literally, guys, sometimes there's 3 people there. I don't have a PowerPoint. I just get real with people. I have my products sitting out. If I'm in town where I can bring them, if I'm traveling, sometimes I don't even have all the products. I have whatever they have. And I just sit usually, you know, like in a chair on the fireplace and tell my story. I don't talk about all the products. I talk about the products that I take, how they've benefited me, give a couple stories, and then let people ask questions. And all the products, you know, I said we have a whole line. You're more than welcome to ask me questions about anything. I will say that my success rate with Sip and Seas are probably 95% people either turning into customers or ambassadors. And I've been told by people, I was doing one and a girl came up to me and she said, you know, I knew I had to come to the Sip and See, and I knew I was going to have to try this because it's my cousin. And she goes, but I got here and I'm on board. I'm going to do this and I'm going to work this because this is amazing. Because so many times people, when they're with you and they see you, they can get to know you and they can see that you're just a normal real person. Here's the deal. I say it all the time, I'm not a very smart person. I graduated from college and I've had jobs. I've been successful at my jobs. But I'm just a normal mom. I mean, on any given day, I'm in Nike shorts with my hair in a ponytail and running around just like everybody else is. And I'm just real. And so when you're at these Sip and Seas, people can really see who you are and see where you know, what your life is like. And they can ask you questions. And so it makes it, I think, where they can see themselves doing it, or they can see it being their life. And so whether they become a customer first and then an ambassador or a straight ambassador, I really do. We've had about 95% success rate all over the country. Sometimes there's 15 people, sometimes there's 2 people. But when there's 2 people there, I truly believe that those are the 2 people that need to be there. And you know what? You can more and talk one-on-one with those 2 people. So don't be scared if you have a house and they come over. Oh, it's messing up. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. Of course, this is crazy. Country living. Anyways, you know, say, come over for some wine and snacks. Have your kids come over. You know, we used to in our old neighborhood, in the afternoons when it's pretty, especially on Friday nights, we would sit and have yard wine. We'd call it yard wine. We'd sit in the driveways, drink wine. The kids would run all over. Have a Sip and See out of it. Fold Plexus into your life. That's the amazing thing with Plexus. Plexus can fold into your life whatever you do. You know, if you work full time, see if a couple of your friends can go to lunch with you during the lunch hour and just talk there. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. When I do Sip and Seas, I don't even have PowerPoints. I don't at all. When I do larger meetings, I do PowerPoints. But no, I have my Sip and Seas. I just talk.
Oop, I think she's gone. We can't hear you right now.
And just open up and look for it. You know, people can relate to that. I think they are huge, and I encourage everyone to do them.
Okay.
So
Julie,
can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just going in and out. At the tail end of that, you went in and out, but you encourage everybody to do that.
I just want to encourage everyone to do Sip and Seas for sure, because I do think they have huge success rates.
Yeah. So Julie asked, how you get people to come, and, yes, and she said she does personal invites. And, I think a lot has to do, and I'll let Beth answer this too, but a lot has to do with influence, your ability to influence other people, your ability to, tell them how important it is to you, your ability to do them frequently enough so that people have options because people are busy, and to understand that, like Beth said, if there's only 2 people there, that's fine. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a large event for it to be successful. Events can be difficult to get people to sometimes, but if you have them frequently enough, I think that's the key.
Well, and here's another thing too, and I know Diane's doing one tonight with some of the other people. We're doing a book group that we're doing, and I encourage them all to do it. They're doing a Zoom online. Sometimes it's just and I know a lot of y'all, I know kids that are school age and in sports, it's hard for moms to get places sometimes, right? Yeah. And so they're doing an opportunity meeting via Zoom tonight. And I think that's another great way to do it. They don't have to leave their house. Have a pajama party online, and, a couple of you get on there and do what we're doing here, but do an opportunity meeting. Doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think just absolutely personally inviting people, calling people. Am I cutting out?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? Let me hop on my phone. Let me see if I can do it that way. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to hop on my phone. I'm going to hop on my phone and see.
Okay. I think the other thing too, and I think Beth knows this, but we're doing those mini Zooms, right? We've gotten great success, and Julie, you've had great success getting folks on those. So, it doesn't always have to be in person, but just I wanted people to know that the Sip and Seas don't have to be anything professional. You don't have to be a silver ambassador to do Sip and Seas. You don't have to be a gold ambassador to do Sip and Seas, and you don't have to have 25 people there. It's as simple as, like Beth said, if you're working full time, have it at your office, have it, when you go out for lunch or anything like that. So I just wanted to kind of emphasize the simplicity of them instead of making them a big production. It's just about being real, sharing your story and the opportunity. Are you on your phone now, Beth? Hold on, you're muted. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on my phone. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
This never happens, but of course I'm so sorry. So what I was saying, I don't know if y'all heard this or not, but doing a Zoom opportunity meeting, that's great too. Just, because people are so busy, I think. But personally inviting people, that is a huge thing. So many people rely on the event page on Facebook or on Evites. I'm going to tell you something. I probably see 10% of the events that I get invited to on Facebook. In fact, today something popped up and it was like, you have so many events this week. And one was with Celeste, and I was like, what am I doing with Celeste this week? I have no idea, and I can't figure out how to go look at it. So don't depend on event pages on Facebook or people just seeing your Facebook posts. Facebook is so crazy these days with all the different algorithms, and people do not see what you post on Facebook a lot of the time. I had my aunt was over at the house recently, and she goes, I don't see anything that you post. Somebody told me the other day something that you had posted, and I don't see any of that. And I thought she just unfriended me because she hated me talking about Plexus. But she didn't. She just wasn't seeing anything. And so don't depend on Facebook for anything. I mean, Facebook is a great tool, and use Facebook, but don't, that cannot be the only thing that we do in sharing Plexus. That cannot be the only way that we invite people to events. There's a video on my team page and a Zoom on my team page. You can actually go to my YouTube page. It was a Zoom I did with Chris and Dana Benson.
And he talks about how he got people to meetings. I think he got like 32 people to come to one meeting. They were having a big meeting with, I think Sonia Dudley was in town maybe at that point. And so he was determined to get a lot of people to meetings. And he got 32 people to come to a meeting with him.
Yeah.
And so, but it's on my YouTube because he did a Zoom for us. It's on my YouTube page.
I watched that. That was pretty intense. He did a lot to get those folks there. And it's definitely can benefit you if you're willing to put in that time. But we are actually doing mini Zooms for our whole team. I'm doing 5 a week right now.
That's awesome.
For opportunities, and they're working out great. So what you just said brings me to my last question. If anybody else has any questions, please feel free to message them in the chat. But it's about, FDA regulations and how that's impacting, our ability to post certain things on Facebook. I personally see this as a huge advantage, and I know that a lot of people do not. And so I want to hear what your thoughts are on that, and what Facebook is and how we should be utilizing that, and how we should not be depending on Facebook to build our businesses.
Okay, well, this is a hot topic in my world right now. I love talking about this.
Yeah.
First of all, we have been told a lot of things that we cannot do right now, right? We can't use before and afters. We can't say, diseases. And I have a lot of thoughts on this, but the main thought that I have is, do we want Plexus to be around for a long time, or do we want to get slapped by the FTC and by the FDA for saying wrong things? Plexus is just trying to protect us and protect Plexus and allowing us to not get in trouble with all of these people. But they are doing testing so that eventually we will be able to say more and do more, and they're getting disclaimers and such like that. So we will be able to say more. But here's the deal. We don't have to have that, right? I mean, we can make posts on Facebook that don't have any of that. I was actually looking at a picture of an old customer of mine. She had posted she just had a baby, and she had stopped for a while she was pregnant. She just felt like she wanted to. And what did I see in her baby stroller? A bottle of Slim. And I was like, what is that? She's drinking it again, And so you can make posts in so many different ways that don't necessarily have to be in your face Plexus post, right? Wearing a Plexus shirt and posting a picture or doing something else that's not even related to Plexus, people are going to see that. Posting a picture doing something, drinking your Slim, or the other day I took a picture and it was of my boys on the way to school, and one of them had a Slim in his mouth. He was being crazy, and I was like, I don't care. It is Slim in his mouth, right? Posting about like how you, it used to be hard to wake up on Mondays, and now you're full of energy and can't wait to get the week started. You can post so many different things or share so many different things in so many different ways that are compliant. And so I don't look at it as a stressor, and I truly haven't had a hard time when I'm making my posts. I just think of something creative to do, The other day I put a picture of a soda. It didn't have a brand on it. It was just a glass of soda. And I said, who has a hard time staying away from these? And I said, yes, I did too. And then I put like maybe Plexus, something like hashtag or something. Maybe I didn't. And other people commented it. Oh, I haven't had one in 3 years. Oh, I don't have that addiction anymore. And so if you just think of things outside of the box, there's really a lot of things you can post about that are compliant. So don't be scared that we can't post before and afters right now, that we can't say certain things. Just come up with different ways to share it. Depending on, I do believe that Facebook is a huge tool, and that obviously that's where we have gotten a lot of our business from people seeing. Do I depend on Facebook? No. You have to reach out. You have to let people know. You have to be, when you're out and about, wearing a Plexus shirt or have a Plexus keychain. People ask all the time. I will say this, the people I know that make their list of 100 and truly call that list and write down what the answers were and don't take no forever an answer and go back and follow up are the people who have the highest PV on my team. I've seen that happen. Make your list of 100 and start reaching out to them. If you don't know where to start, grab your cell phone and go down your contact list and start writing the names down, and then right next to it why you think they could use Plexus. And start going through them, and people are going to say no, but we all know that doesn't mean no forever. On average, it takes 6 to 7 contacts before somebody actually buys something. That's not a Plexus stat, that's a marketing stat. And so don't give up. You have to be consistent, but you need to be doing sip and sees. You need to be reaching out to people. You need to set goals. Kate's goal, I go back to it all the time. She said she wanted 40 level ones. And so what did she do? She made a visual poster and put sticky notes. And when she got her level ones, every time she would write on that. That's amazing. That is so, I'm a visual person, and I absolutely love that. And I use that example all the time, Kate, that you did that. But reach out to people. Yes, Facebook is amazing. But if you post something at 7 o'clock in the morning and somebody doesn't get on until 7 o'clock at night, they're never going to see your post, ever. I'll use one more example, and then I'm going to go off this topic because I told you I love this topic. I don't know if Rodan and Fields is big where y'all are, the face stuff, but it's huge here. And I have many friends who've been posting about Rodan and Fields for a year or two. And I was intrigued by it. I wanted to try it, but never did I ask any of them about it until one of my neighbors a few months ago called me and said, "Hey, can I come talk to you about Rodan Fields?" I said, "Yeah, actually, I've been very curious about it and am interested in trying it. Come tell me about it." So she walked over across the street. She left the house, and guess what I did? I bought Rodan and Fields from her. I don't even know if I'd seen her posted on Facebook. Maybe she had. I'd seen lots of people posted on Facebook, though. But she reached out to me and asked me and told me about it. So anyways, she's a Plexus ambassador now. But that's my Rodan and Fields story. But it's true. I mean, I had seen numerous people post about it all the time. All the time. One of them had even gotten, I think they get Alexis too, maybe. I'm not sure. I think it was Alexis. Had got her car. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I hear it's doing good things, but I never asked them about it. But when somebody came to me, I bought it. So who do you think is doing that to you? They could be seeing everybody post Plexus, but they're just waiting for someone to ask.
I completely agree. The other thing I'll add, I feel like with these restrictions that because Plexus is becoming so, they're in the spotlight, I feel like this is going to help people because it doesn't allow you to be salesy and, kind of using these marketing, because a lot of the images we can't use anymore because they're not being approved, the Plexus images. One of the people that I've been listening to a lot is Ray Higdon, and he talks about attraction marketing. And there's lots of folks who I see making posts who actually are kind of in the business of making people unattracted to them because it's so salesy. It has nothing to do with them. It's not vulnerable at all. It just looks like a post to post. And I feel like now, since we actually have to think about it and make it personal and make it genuine, I feel like that's going to help a lot of us. And I think less is more and quality over quantity. There's no reason to have to post about Plexus blatantly and salesy 3 times a day. Huge turnoff. You're going to have people defriend you. And so trying to find your niche, posting about things that are important to you. For me, my faith, Target, my kids, you know what I mean? Those are the things that's my life. And so that's what I'm going to post about. And I'm going to intermix Plexus into that.
Absolutely.
I was the first one to say, though, I did not start that way. And I guarantee you I've lost so many people because of it. I didn't know what I was doing. And it was like my Facebook was like a walking ad. So unattractive. So something I definitely learned today.
my kids get irritated at me because I'm like, stop, let's take a picture. And they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, you want to go to Hawaii some more? You want to do these things? It's just putting us, giving us trips and stuff. But absolutely post what you've always posted. Everybody knows what me and my family do. Not in a weird way, obviously. But I love sharing pictures of my kids. I love making memories of my kids. There's days I'll post 10 things that we did. In the middle of that, I'll make a Plexus post for sure. But I always, there's days I go and I look through my Facebook page to make sure that it's not all Plexus. Because a lot of times what happens too for me is people will tag me in Plexus posts. And so I will go and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's 10 Plexus posts in a row. And so I have to immediately start doing some, not damage control, but
Nope.
So.
Now your phone's going out.
Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions before we let Beth go? Specific questions. Okay. I think that Emily, yeah. Yes, please.
I just wanted to comment that I really liked how you just mentioned tonight how simple your sip and seeds can be at a person's home, and that you don't need a PowerPoint and stuff like that. And I like that you mentioned that you can just share the triplex and the X Factor, the Fab Four, because I think my team and the way we're kind of thinking about it is we have to share all these products and cover everything that night. And I think it is a little overwhelming. So I appreciate that. I think that makes it easier for me to get my head around how I need to move forward. So thanks.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, that even in my big meetings, I don't talk about every single product. I don't. I used to share the product video, and now the product video is different. So all the new videos are much better than what I used to share. But I was just doing all these videos and it was taking forever. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is forever long. So I watched, actually, it was before Super Saturday, not this year, but last year, and there was an opportunity meeting, and Sonia Dudley, and I can't remember who was with her, came in, and they did the meeting, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. It's so simple. And so they did talk about a few of the products. And so that's when I started cutting back and not doing all of the products. I always have all the products there if I can. And so afterwards, people can come up and ask me questions about different things. The ones that I love to talk about, and again, when I talk about them, I talk like a minute on each one. I make it very brief and very simple. And then I let people ask questions. I talk about the triplex. I talk about block because I love carbs. And I talk about X Factor and Mega X, and then I throw in the pain line and the nerve line. I don't talk in detail. Again, I'm like, Plexus Slim, it regulates your blood sugar, and it helps keep your cholesterol levels at healthy levels, and this is what it's done for me. Move on. Probiotic, this, give a couple stats. This is what it's done for me. So very brief, but more story-wise, like talking about how it's helped me. When I talk about Block is amazing. It curbs up to 48% carbs and sugars. Who likes carbs? I'm a carb girl, so it's helped me tremendously. It helped, my stomach shrunk when I first started taking it. So a picture of my sister-in-law, she lost 18 pounds in 6 weeks by adding Block. So I haven't done that since the new rules, but that's what I used to do with the pictures. But I just tell my story, So keep it simple, because think of what you would want to hear. Would you want to sit and listen to somebody talk about every single product for an hour and every single ingredient? Some people love that. I can't do that. I would be lost in the first 5 minutes because I have too much to do in my life. So what would your friends like? Would they like to keep it short and sweet and then talk to you and ask questions? Or would they like for you to go into detail and list every single ingredient and you'd be sitting there for 2 hours? They don't have time to sit there for 2 hours, I promise.
Yeah. I think, doing them like those mini Zooms, Emily, I really think that that's key. It's just your story, financial, health, and Fab 4 or if you have a particular product like Beth loves the block, you know, whatever. I think that 20 minutes is usually people's length of attention span as everybody's dozing off, right? So, okay.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Susie asked really quickly about events and trade shows. In my opinion, and then I'll let you share, I've not had much luck at events or trade shows at all, mostly because our business is built on relationships, and you don't have relationships with people from trade shows. Now, I will say that Jessica Carney, who's on here, I met at a women's event at my church, and it was probably the only event I've ever done that was worth my time, because I there's a couple people on my team, and I got a couple customers. But that has been my issue with events as far as those go, is you don't have that connection with folks. There's nothing to base that on. So you can start that relationship with people, and I think sometimes it can turn into something. But yeah, events haven't really been anything that have worked for me. But Susie asked, not events, trade shows, like expos. Susie asked, like, what to have on the table and how to, like, attract people to your table.
So I kind of have the same thoughts as Kate on that. However, I think in certain areas they work great. I know the Nebraska girls had a lot of success with those, I believe. I have some girls in Iowa and South Dakota who've had some recent success with those. In this area, I don't feel like they work. However, we had one at our kids' school, and one of my girls did it there, and she actually did get several customers from that. I got a girl who I'd kind of, we hadn't really talked about it. It was kind of one of those dripping things. She knew I did it, but she tasted it there, and so now she's an ambassador. But it's our school, and people knew us. And so we already had that relationship with a lot of people there. And so I think that if you have something like that, where you, like you said, like at your church, you got a couple people from that, people at least knew your face, and it wasn't, like complete stranger, because you're right. This is built on relationships. And there may be people that have great success, but truthfully, I have not had a ton of people have success. I think that the success for sure will be in the follow-up. And so I know you can buy on Etsy, like there's these little notepads that are real cool, and they'll have them put their name, and it'll have check marks for things they might be interested in. And literally my girl that did it out here called every single one of those numerous times.
Yeah.
And actually set up like a lunch or dinner after that to try to get people to come learn more about it. So follow-up is huge.
We have those customer capture sheets, and definitely it's a lot of follow-up, with any lead that you get, and creating that relationship. And definitely there's ways to go about it. Julie Everett shared with Susie that a lot of times at vendor events, she gets more business from vendors, which is a great way, to go to the other tables, get their business cards, talk to them, share yours, and then again, follow up.
I've heard that a lot as well. And I don't want to discourage anyone from doing them if they're willing to try it.
Yeah.
I don't have time right now in the phase of life that I am in to commit to an entire weekend. It's usually out here, there 2 days, and I just don't have the time to commit to that right now. And so I find that other things for me are more successful than that. And so I have not done that. But I know tons of people do them. And so I don't want to discourage somebody from trying something, because I just have not done them, and the people that I know around here that have done them, But in the area that I was in, also so many people, it's not saturated by any means. I don't want to say that, but it wasn't a new area. Nebraska, when they do it, Iowa, when they do it, they're new areas. And so people have not even heard about Plexus. And so I think that because it's something new there, that they've had good success with it. And in good success, I don't know what that means, but they were pleased with the outcomes.
Yeah. And I think some people just like to do them. And so you should, you know what I mean? If that's something that fits into your life and you're able to do that and take the time, then absolutely, by all means. I think that the key, though, is in follow-up and definitely talking to the other people at the other tables, because I would agree. I've definitely gotten business from other vendors versus actual people that came up to our table. But there's lots of follow-up involved. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate
Oh my goodness, of course.
the time.
I'm so sorry that my internet kept messing up. I mean, freak deal. And I think Scott literally is still on hold with the internet company. So apparently there's something wrong. When I hopped on, he'd already been on hold for probably 30 minutes. And so I apologize. I'm so sorry. That does not happen very much where it does that, but it did tonight. So, but I also just want y'all to know that I'm here for anything. You know, Kate, you know that I'm always accessible to you. And if, y'all have any questions after tonight or anytime, I know Kate's about to have her baby. And but if y'all need anything, just shoot me a message. I'm always here to help. So y'all are amazing. You're an amazing team. You're a strong team. And then, like I said earlier, Kate's an amazing leader. And so, follow what she's doing. Y'all are going to be at the top. I can't wait for each and every one of you to be at the top. And I know you will be. So y'all are hard workers. And y'all's PV is crazy. I mean, it's amazing. So
I've got some PV rock stars on my team. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, guys.
Bye, Kate.
Bye.